I'm not used to these poetry live streams yet, but I tried to put together a short collection of poems from two poets in particular that I really like. So the first one is called James Schuyler. I don't even know how to say his name, to be honest. He's American and from the 20th century. And he suffered from manic depression, so he had to be hospitalized many times in his life. So in 1980, he won a Pulitzer Prize with his book, The Morning of the Poem. And in it, there's a collection of poetry called the Payne Whitney Poems, in reference to the Payne Whitney Psychiatric Clinic, where he wrote them. So all the poems, like, they work better as a whole, obviously, but I chose two that I really like because he talks about snow in them. And they're pretty simple, but they're really nice. So the first one is called Blizzard. Tearing and tearing ripped up bits of paper. No, it's not paper, it's snow. Blown sideways in the wind, coming in my window, wetting stacked books. Mr. Potcold, he can't come visiting today. Of course not in this driving icy weather. How I wish I were out in it. A figure like an exclamation point seen through driving snow. That's it. It's really simple, but I find it really nice. The second one is called February 13th, 1975. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's. Tomorrow, I'll think about it. Always nervous, even after a good sleep I'd like to climb back into. The sun shines on yesterday's new fallen snow, and yester even, it turned the world to pink and rose and still blue buildings. Alan is restless, leaving soon. And what then will I do with myself? Someone is watching morning TV, but I'm not reduced to that yet. I wish one could press snowflakes in a book like flowers.
That was lovely. I've not heard his poetry before. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Neither. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I try to find him in bookstores and libraries, but there's never anything from him, which is a shame.
Oh, I see.
So the second one is Ezra Pound, which you've probably heard of. I studied him quite a bit in high school, and I seem to be the only one who actually enjoyed it. So he was American, and he came to live in England, and in 1920 he wrote a very long poem which was divided in 18 subparts. It was called Hugh Selwyn Mauberley, and it's the name of an alter ego that Pound created to sort of criticize himself and his own poetry, which is very, very interesting. Like, it's a very interesting concept in itself. But my favorite passage is when he talks about his outrage at World War I, because it's not like overly complicated, but it's still very powerful, in my opinion. So here are parts 4 and 5 of Hugh Selwyn Mauberley. 4. These fought in any case, and some believing pro domo in any case. Some quick to arm, some for adventure, some from fear of weakness, some from fear of censor, some for love of slaughter, in imagination, learning later. Some in fear, learning, love of slaughter. Died some pro patria, non dulce and non decor. Walked I deep in hell, believing in no man's lies, then unbelieving. Came home, home to a lie, home to many deceits, home to old lies and new infamy. Usually age old and age thick and liars in public places. Daring as never before, wasted as never before, young blood and high blood, fair cheeks and fine bodies, fortitude as never before, frankness as never before, disillusions as never told in the old days, hysterias, trench confessions, laughter out of dead bellies. 5. There died a myriad, and of the best among them, for an old bitch gone in the teeth for botched civilization. Charm smiling at the good mouth, quick eyes gone under earth's lid, for too gross of broken statues, for few thousand battered books. So yeah, I think it overall sounds really, really nice. And I like how
really powerful.
He includes some Latin lines in there, like the second line, he says, and some believing pro domo in any case, and pro domo is Latin for faux home. And there's one Latin line, which is a reference to a very famous poem by Horace. Horace's poem is very short and roughly translates to, "It is sweet and fitting to die for one's country." So dulce decorum e propria mori. Death chases the one who flees, doesn't take mercy on the coward's hulk of back, young men not yet seasoned. And so Pound changes that line to died some pro patria, non dulce and non decor, which means like some died for the country, not sweet nor fitting. And I think that's really clever. Obviously, there's a lot more to analyze in that poem, but yeah, I like the little Latin references. And I'll end with a short one by Pound as well. Oh, my laptop's about to die. Give me just a second to plug it.
Just having some technical difficulties, folks. If you could please bear with us one moment. Thank you. That was my best impression of, I don't know what you would call it, like a tannoy voice. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. We are just plugging in laptops.
There you go. Sorry about that. I'll end with a very short Ezra Pound poem, which is called The Bathtub. As a bathtub lined with white porcelain, when the hot water gives out or goes tepid, so is the slow cooling of our chivalrous passion, oh my much praised but not altogether satisfactory lady. So it's only 4 lines, but there's a lot to see, to decipher in those 4 lines. So he talks about the decline of passion that's described through vivid imagery, like the temperature is used both literally and metaphorically, like with the parallel between the cooling of water and the warning of the love. And also the word chivalrous, it evokes that the lack of like excitement as well, because chivalrous is usually used to describe like honorable actions and behavior and courteous love. So yeah, not very exciting. The metaphor of porcelain as well, we can see it as an indication of the woman's social class. Like, she's upper class, but she's very boring. And you can also tell that she's like fragile because of how easily porcelain breaks. So Pound, he was largely influenced by Japanese poetry, especially haikus. And so that's why you'll find that a lot of his poems are very short and in free verse. And he's especially well known for his like vivid imagery and the economy of words. So I find it really interesting. So, because you don't think there's a lot going on there, but when you sit for 5 minutes and look at the poem, there's a lot to analyze. So yeah, I would recommend reading more of Ezra Pound's. And that's it for me.
That was great. Thank you very much. That was really nice. I haven't heard a lot of those before, so that was an exciting thing to be able to listen to.